So 2017 is basically the third year of the FIA Drifting Working Group. We've gone through 2 years of meetings. I think the primary goal is for the FIA to hear and learn different perspectives about what drifting organizers go through and what drifting is really all about. We don't have everybody at the table, but we have a good amount of organizers at the table, and we've been lucky enough to be there since day one. Really, I think the primary, goal walking out of the group is really about, setting some global standards, some guidelines for rules and regs, sporting and technical. Not so much to force feed a set of global regulations down everybody's throat, but to give each country, each potential organizer, each what they call ASN, which is the national body that's affiliated to the FIA, a set of guidelines so that if they wanted to start drifting, that there was a starting point to that. And ultimately, I think one of the showcases or the goal was what was recently announced, which is the FIA Intercontinental Drifting Cup. It used to be called something different prior, so I'm kind of stuck on that. So yeah, it's like the Olympics. Organizers and companies bid to host this first ever event, which is supposed to bring the best of the best from around the world together to fly under the FIA banner as a drifting competition. And I think there's something like 12 or more companies that submitted a tender to be the host. We were one of the 3 finalists, but unfortunately we didn't get the bid to host this event. And the event's coming up on September 30th and October 1st in Japan, which is done by Sunpros, which is the parent company to Auction Magazine and the D1 Grand Prix. Why did the tender go one way versus another? Everything's speculation at this point. There's obviously some decision making behind the scenes that we weren't privy to and we weren't part of. I think our proposal, I believe, could be quite different. Ultimately, I think our goal was to create a foundation for this event. We, where we focused the most on was about global exposure, was about finding a way to get as much reach for the participants as possible, as much exposure as possible, and to make it as easy as possible for teams to come and participate. And so that comes in the form of, live stream and marketing and social media, and even the time of the year, right? That's really critical because everybody has different things going on their global calendar all over the year. And I think we focus on that. Now, that's not to say that the other organizers didn't do that as well, or that Sunpros didn't do that as well, but I know that what we submitted, and that was our primary focus. We didn't offer the most money. We didn't, create, something that we couldn't deliver. I think we based everything off of what we felt that we could deliver, and again, kind of laying the foundation that maybe this first proposal may not have been the best or the robust, but it lays a good foundation for growth so that we don't rush into the event, that we give teams the time to raise funds and to get sponsors and to put a good plan together. Because ultimately, if this is the first showcase, we want the best of the best. And the best of the best is you want, Von Ginn Jr. or Frederick Osbo or Chris Forsberg to come to this event with their number 1 car, not their number 3 car, their number 1 car, not a rented car, but their number 1 car. But at the same time, guys like, the top drivers in Japan, the top drivers in Europe, in South Africa, in Asia, to bring their A game and their primary product, their primary piece of equipment to participate as well. And again, not rental cars, not secondary cars, but the best drivers in the best equipment possible to come to one central place. I think we went into bidding for this event knowing that we could, 100% there's a high chance that it wouldn't be us. I don't think we went into it thinking that, oh yeah, we got it in the bag, like it would be us, and no matter what. So yes, so the fact that the first event is in Tokyo, I get it. It makes sense. You know, the sport started in Japan, and to have this first event in Japan makes a lot of sense. There are some challenges. I know there's a lot of appeal, and there's been huge global attention towards this. You know, the video that they put out is the highest viewed FIA video that they posted. So out of all the stuff that they post, this one video has the most exposure, if not one of the most viewed pieces. So it shows that there's an appetite for it. Being that it's September 30th and October 1st, at the end of the European season, towards the end of our season, is going to make it challenging. So I know there's a lot of teams that are working really hard behind the scenes to try to make it work to get there, so that they don't go broke getting there. But the time frame is tight, and so there's a lot of behind the scenes work to try to make this work. Sure. What would it have been? There was a few scenarios that we put on the table. Had we have gotten the bid to host this event, there could have been two scenarios, though there's more, but there's two primary scenarios that I think I was most excited about. I think one is it would have been at Irwindale Speedway. It's a House of Drift. It's a venue that's proven time and time again to have a sellout crowd. The vibe, the energy is there. We're in a primary market, that's Los Angeles, where the world converges. It's easy for international travelers to come to. It's appealing because I can come and participate at the event and turn it into a family vacation afterwards. If I'm a fan, I can come to LA and do a million other things while I'm in LA. And so it's a destination city. Irwindale is iconic because it's globally recognized. And again, we have the know-how of the venue to turn it into something spectacular. I think we could build upon what we already do with Formula Drift and add more on top of it. The time of the year is always tricky. I think there's a certain time of the year that the organization that the FIA wanted it to be at, that the drifting working group was trying to go and make it work. I don't know if I necessarily agreed with that, and I would have wanted to shift it outside or not cannibalize on the FD Championship as a result of it. And then the other option, which I thought was really cool, is, again, I think I kind of alluded to that our perspective was about laying the foundation. And part of that foundation is about exposure and about the potentiality of growth. A one-time event, in the port of Long Beach or on city streets somewhere in downtown LA would have cost a fortune, would have taken a lot from everybody that's involved, and then it would have been, a overly high level of expectation, and where do you go from there? The other idea that we put out that we thought was really interesting is that we make it a part of the Long Beach Grand Prix weekend. We already take up track time. We already run at night, the only series in the Long Beach Grand Prix's 40+ year history to run at night in the city of Long Beach. We have that relationship, we have that access, and there's already a built-in audience of anywhere from 100 to 150,000 people over the 3 days. So there's turnkey exposure to drifting fans and non-drifting fans alike. So we thought that was what a great way to launch this inaugural event in a place that's iconic, that's even more iconic than Irwindale, and that's the streets of Long Beach, ex-Formula One venue, current IndyCar venue, current IMSA Sports Car World Championship venue, city streets, backdrop of downtown Long Beach, again, Southern California, LA metropolitan area, international town, and I think it would have been spectacular to have 16 to 32 of the world's best to be at a venue like that. So yeah, again, I think the logistical and the financial challenges of getting to Tokyo at the end of September is there. But I think there is enough appeal that I believe currently there's 4 Formula Drift drivers that are active in the series currently that are looking to participate in this event. And so there's a lot of behind the scenes work that they're trying to make it work. Yeah, of course. Like in anything you do, we worked to submit a proposal and a plan, and we thought that was compelling and would be something really good. And obviously for that to be not selected is definitely a disappointment. I think in anything that you do, you have hopes for, hey, if I enter a race or I submit a proposal or a job application, that there's always a big part of you that wants it. That's why you submitted to do it. We wouldn't have submitted a proposal if we didn't want this, and we did want it. And so yes, it was disappointing in that, but hey, that's part of the game.